Of course, coming back to Fort Mitchell, where we spent about 15 or 16 years of our lives together, June and I. Of course, the Greyhound Grill was almost a regular place for us to stop and get a fine meal and enjoy an evening together. And here in Fort Mitchell, Herzog Jewelers has moved across the street and to the new Rimke Plaza with Jersey Mike's and some other places there. And it's always been a very neat place to live with very nice people. But a great city administration. And I want to watch getting out of here because this is a little dangerous right here. A little traffic. To get a good look there at the Greyhound Grill there. And all the other shops here. Big Coffee. Down here another couple of little nice restaurants that June and I frequent on occasion. Tampa SSO. And Fort Mitchell. And of course, Blessed Sacrament Church down here. Always a place of historical recognition. And coming to the city building here, which we had on one of the other segments there. Fort Mitchell City building, and then the Fort Mitchell Baptist Church. Where the Fort Mitchell Baptist, actually the prayer breakfast was started there at Fort Mitchell Baptist. It's now held over at, I think it's the church, the Christian church over on Buttermilk, I think it is. And it's at 6:30 in the morning to 7:30. And with my health condition, I just don't get a chance to make it in there anymore. Going down famous Beechwood Road here, we'll pass the Beechwood High School where I did some substitute teaching and my sister taught full time back many years ago. That's where she started her teaching career. And of course, my best friend Gil Hammond, Gil spent 10 years here at Beechwood as a science teacher, and one of my former students, Steve Hutton, I had him in advanced government at Erlanger Lloyd School. He was an outstanding student, and he was principal here at Beechwood for many years. And in the administration. As you can see here, Beechwood Road is a beautiful school and independent school, and does a beautiful job to be very proud of. I'll just take a little twirl through here to show you a little bit of school. Yikes. Hit the curb there a little bit. Of course, this is the old historic part. National Blue and Ribbon School of Excellence, Beechwood High School, known as the Tigers. Hello. Well, they're really doing some drastic remodeling there on that house. I think that Andy Boussard used to live there, but I'm not certain of that. Famous attorney here in all of northern Kentucky. They used to have a swimming pool right down there in that end of the house. And of course, as I said the other day, this is where John Blakely lived, famous historian and attorney in northern Kentucky, and the one that gave me the history of Kenton County years ago in 1987 when I did the history of all the counties of Kentucky. Him and Bill Straw gave me the history of Kenton County. Seville Court here, and Seville Court where we lived, and you can see the house there, or the stonework on the second house, and that's on 213 Beechwood Road. We'll go up there a little later, but first we'll go back on Seville Court here where I first bought this house, and back here was about the outside structure was finished, and I finished it off inside and finished the basement off, and we turned it into a beautiful home, which Miss June and I got married in. And as I said the other day, it was right on that hill right there where Miss Virginia Couturiers lived, in the Cincinnati Garden Club and Northern Kentucky Garden Club. She had garden things all over the place there, beautifully planted. And that's where I said, look up there at that little fishing well that she had up there. And I said, look up there at that. And after she looked up there like that, I reached down, grabbed her hand, pulled her over to me, and gave her a big kiss. And boy, I said, mercy sakes alive, this is the lady for me. Of course, I was thrilled that she had come on to the picnic. And now there's where the Schachters live, and the Wells lived next door to them. Paul Schachter and Nancy Schachter, great folks in all these homes. And right here, folks, is the house, 127 Seville Court, that June and I spent about, I guess, 9 years in. And loved it. She helped me finish it off and decorate it and did a lot of finishing touches. And it was and is still a beautiful home. Wonderful people here on Seville Court, and I loved it here. And then we bought the little lot, downsizing for the two of us. Of course, now I have to tell you the rest of the romantic story. I get down here in the shade, get a picture of the house. Dead-end street here in Seville Court. Now, it was right here at this home on Seville Court that I had met and really got a chance to know Miss June Diamond Stephenson. Now, the story was, when I met her, and this might be repeating some, because I'd lost the piece of film that I'd had of this the other day. It somehow fluttered, and I had to come back and redo it. But anyway, the story's worth telling a second time anyway. I was sitting up at Charlie McKeever's having supper. It used to be Charlie McKeever's. It's now the public house. And I always liked going in there and having a nice meal. And I was sitting there having my meal, the back part of the place. And so happened that Pat Walker came up, who was Pat Walker Wellensack, and at the time. And she had not got to know me when I was field representative for the Congressman John Breckinridge, who I had helped get elected when I was in law school and over at Chase in Cincinnati. And I was his field representative, handling all matters from education, energy to agriculture. And she come to see us, her and a couple other ladies and young ladies, and they were all happened to be students at Simon Kenton High School. Now, wait, you folks live here?
Yeah.
Oh, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
I used to own that house right there.
Oh, really?
Do you know the people that live there now?
Oh, this one?
Yeah.
No, we don't know them.
I didn't.
I thought Eddie and Adele moved.
Where do y'all?
No, that's not them.
Where do y'all
They're
live?
nice. We live in 120. The Fehrenbachers used to live there.
Well, yep. I built this one here.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, and I built another one right around the corner down here on Beechwood Road. Ever seen the little stone house up there with the cross in the gable? I built them. My wife June Guyman Stephenson. I built both of these.
Wow.
And I was coming over here doing a little story on them to put on YouTube and Facebook.
That's great.
The places where we've lived, you know.
Yeah.
And I saw you walking by there in my mirror, and I thought, well, I'm just going to stop and say hello. Mind me
Sure.
asking who you are?
My name's Matt. This is my daughter, Rebecca.
I'm Rebecca Grandfire.
Yeah.
Oh, you're a daughter, are you? Now, where do you go to school?
I go to Beechwood High School. I'm a senior this year.
A senior this year. Well, I used to be superintendent of education for the whole state of Kentucky.
Really?
Wow.
Yes, the last elected one back in 1992.
Wow.
And I substitute taught up here at Beechwood for a while. And I taught Erlanger Lloyd and was president of the Education Association there and a bunch of other things in education.
That's wonderful.
But now I'm just old.
Oh.
As a matter of fact, turned 78 the other day.
Happy belated birthday.
Well, that's one. Thank you, and that's one of the reasons that I'm doing this little story here about the homes we lived in, and so I
I'm
thought.
sure they're pretty nice. Like for Halloween, you know, we knock on the door. They always answer. So you
Oh,
could
yeah.
probably knock, and they'd probably let you go in. If you
Oh,
wanted to.
I don't want to bother them, but I just wanted to talk a little bit about the house, and this is where we were married,
Oh,
and
wow. When did you build the house? What year?
oh geez.
I'll put you on the spot.
Put me on the spot. We were here 9 years. We were there 6 years, 6 or 7 years, and so if you figure that out, let's see. I guess it was I taught school in 70. I started teaching in 70,
Yeah.
and at Erlanger Lloyd, and let me think here. Then let's see. I lived in Cherry Hill subdivision. Had a little house there, and I'm trying to think. Then I lived there at Cherry Hill for probably about I'd say 7 years,
Oh, okay.
maybe 8 years,
Okay.
maybe even 11 years. my
Right.
brain's now
I
so
understand.
back here. About 11 years. Now, is this a son here too?
Yeah, this is my son Jacob.
Oh, Jacob, you go to Beechwood?
Yes, I did.
Well, I just got through telling him I used to be superintendent of education for the whole state of Kentucky.
Yeah.
And I'm the only living Kentuckian who's been in every single county in the state at least 5 times
Wow.
and filmed the history of all 120 counties.
Oh, that's cool.
And if you go on my YouTube site,
What's your YouTube site?
it's called Travels with Dr. John Stephenson with a P-H-E-N-S-O-N.
Are we
Okay.
going to be on your YouTube channel?
Well, you probably will be on the YouTube channel.
Okay.
And
Yeah, YouTube.
And I've got all the history of all the counties of Kentucky, including the overall history of Kentucky,
Oh,
on
would
that
be
channel.
fascinating.
And plus, I've got a trip going through Europe by train
Wow.
to 8 countries
So
in
have
Europe.
you read a book called The Frontiersman?
Yes,
I recommend it. I'm trying to get him through it. I
Oh,
love that book. The whole
it's-
story
it's-
of Simon Kenton
that's
and the
Simon
history
Kenton,
of,
the great.
the
That's
settling.
right.
Yeah, it's fascinating, right?
That's why I'm having our 6th. I graduated from Simon Kenton,
Uh-huh.
and my history teacher was Mrs. Reuben Hinsdale. I had great teachers.
Oh, okay.
And-
Hinsdale Elementary's named
And
after him?
that's right. And
Huh.
a lot of history. But if you go on my YouTube site, you'll see the trip through Europe, 8 countries, including 2 communist bloc countries before the Iron Curtain came down, Yugoslavia and Hungary.
Wow.
And then all the way down to Thessalonica and Athens, Greece, and all through the Greek islands and Corfu, Patras, over to Italy, all through Italy from Brindisi to Bari to Naples to Florence to Venice and Rome, and then Germany, all through Germany and
Sounds
Austria.
like quite a trip.
It was quite 14 one-hour shows on YouTube.
How many weeks were you gone?
About a month.
Nice.
About a month, and we never had a single room reserved.
That's the way to do it.
And we winged it. We were young, and guess what? It was our honeymoon. It took me 4 years to convince this lady to marry me, June Guyman Stephenson.
Yeah.
We met at Charlie McKeever's restaurant, which is now the Public House.
Oh, yeah.
You know where that is?
Yeah.
That's where we met, and I was introduced to her by a young lady who graduated from Simon Kenton High School. And she came down to my office, and I was the field representative for Congressman Breckinridge. And she said, "Mr. Stephenson, I understand you went to Simon Kenton High School." I said, "Yes." She said, "We got a girls' softball team, and we don't have a sponsor. Would you mind sponsoring us?"
Uh-huh.
I thought about it for a moment or two, and I said, "I'd be happy to sponsor you, but I want to be able to name the team." And she said, "That's fine." Pat Walker was her name.
Yeah.
And so we called the team Stephenson's Farmerettes. You know why?
Why?
I was planning on running for Commissioner of Agriculture of Kentucky.
Oh, there you go.
And so I thought, well, this is a good way to get started.
There you go.
And so anyway, she's the one that was in the restaurant up there years later. And she said, I was going to have a big picnic here at the house with about 80 people.
Uh-huh.
And she said, come on up. I want to introduce you to this lady. I got halfway up there and saw her and laid my eyes on her. And I said, oh, my Lord. She is a knockout. Bring her to my party anytime.
Love at first sight.
I was with me. I got up.
You have to convince them.
I
right?
got up and put my best smooth moves on her, and you know what happened? I looked at her and I said, "May I have your phone number?" And she said, "I think not."
Ah, nice.
So I went back and sat down. I said, "Come on to the picnic tomorrow. No strings attached. You'll have a good time."
Right.
She came to the picnic. Well, when I got up and left my seat after eating, I glanced over at her. She glanced back at me. Our eyes locked on each other, and she said, later she told me, right then was when the Lord told her, "There goes your husband out the door." And she said, "Oh, no."
Not this one.
And she came to the picnic, walked around the corner of that house right there, and I saw her coming, and guess what I did? I walked right into the volleyball net, tripped over a stool, and got up and said, "What do you like to do?" She said, "I like to walk." We left everybody at the house. We went for a 3-hour walk through Fort Mitchell, coming back up this street here, coming back home that after the one lady was left. I let her look at Miss Courtois. You remember Miss Courtois that had a house down there?
No.
Well, they tore it down.